Good evening and welcome back to 31 Horror Nights. It's October 26th and tonight's movie is Before I Wake. This is a dark fantasy horror movie directed by Mike Flanagan, who is no stranger to Horror Nights, having also directed Hush and Oculus. This movie is about a couple that adopt/take in a foster child, and that kid, when he sleeps, his dreams become reality, which can obviously be enchanting on some nights, disastrous on other nights. From what I can tell, the solution up until then has just been to not let the kids sleep. I think he takes caffeine pills. Clearly that isn't a good solution to this problem. The trailer didn't really give me anything aside from the premise, so I don't know what exactly comes from that. I do like Mike Flanagan's direction from what I've seen so far. Oculus was amazing. I liked Hush quite a bit. One good draw of both of those movies were its cast of characters, and hopefully that continues in this movie. I'm going to give this movie a watch. This movie, I almost gave it an 8, but by the end, I think that it gets a 9 out of 10. I absolutely had some issues with it, but the writing and the acting and the story came through in the end. There are 3 main characters in this movie. The first one is Jessie, played by Kate Bosworth. I knew of her before this, but I haven't really seen her in anything. She did great. There was also her husband, played by Thomas Jane, and that was the same man who played the lead in The Mist, and I didn't even recognize him because he was so much better here. So he either improved a lot in 9 years, or the direction in The Mist was just terrible, which I think is more likely personally. And then there's Cody, played by Jacob Tremblay. He's the one whose dreams become real. He did fine. When it comes to acting, I didn't really think it was bad. I was curious what else this actor would go on to do. He would go on to star in the movie Room and play Luca from Luca, so he's doing great and his acting has improved, even though it wasn't bad at all at the beginning. My first impression when I really thought about this premise is just how bad I felt for the kid in the movie. His ability can hurt people around him, and it has. And it's kind of hard for him to deal with that because he's a child. The movie almost went down an absolutely horrible path. The couple, Jesse and Mark, they had a kid before this, but the kid drowned in the bathtub by accident. Before Cody got there, they took away all the pictures of him except for this one family portrait, and when Cody sees that, he asks about Sean. And that night, Cody dreams about Sean, and a nice touch with it is that Sean is wearing the same outfit that he's wearing in the picture. He's smiling the whole time. He doesn't talk. He doesn't do anything because that's all Cody saw of Sean. Then Jesse decides to show Cody some home videos of Sean so that he can summon Sean again in his dreams. And all I could do was just hope that the movie was aware of how terrible that is. The way that it's exploiting Cody, and the way that Jessie, she's not moving forward from this. She's keeping herself in the past with this. It's not helping her at all. Mark is aware of this and believes this too, and he talks to her about this. And later on in the movie, there's a scene where Jessie gives them both, milk and brownies, but she put a sleeping pill in Cody's milk. Now, they never say what her rationale for doing this was. If it was just that she wanted him to get some sleep, that's wrong. If she wanted him to sleep so that he could dream up Sean again, that's abhorrent. We never get an answer to that question, but at the end of the movie, Jessie does say in no uncertain terms that that was wrong and she shouldn't have used Cody like that. So I'm glad that they fixed that, though I wish that hadn't even come up at all. But here's a problem that they never fixed. This movie is entirely way too dark. I feel like you can call it the Sinister test. If it's too dark during a scene where they're inside during the day, you're doing something wrong. The entire movie was really dark. Even during the day, there were rarely any lights on, and the light was very cold and blue tinted. Jesse and Mark's home doesn't look very warm and inviting, I'll tell you that much. And when it's night, you can only see what is necessary for you to see, nothing more. Much like Oculus and Hush, though, the thing that really makes this movie good are its characters. I mean, they're obviously not perfect, but they are good people, and we want to see them grow and get through this. And while the movie being too dark is still a problem, it did help with helping the CGI sort of blend in during the dream sequences. This was a cleverly written and well-acted movie. It's not the best I've seen from Flanagan. Oculus was definitely better, but I still enjoyed it, even if I had some issues. And now I want to talk about a few spoilers. The big threat, the big nightmare that has been tormenting Cody for years is a creature that he calls the Canker Man. He kind of looks like a mix between Slender Man and Dead Hand from Ocarina of Time. And the Canker Man has consumed many of Cody's past guardians. And none of the people that the Canker Man eats in the movie ever come back. And that includes Mark. This was on the night that Jesse drugged Cody's milk to make him sleep, which meant that the Canker Man wouldn't disappear, and it ate Mark. This is obviously unfortunate for Jesse, and the movie frames it as her doing something really bad. So maybe she really did drug Cody just so that she could see her son again. But towards the end of the movie, Jesse is able to learn more about Cody's past and is able to figure out who the Canker Man really is. Cody's birth mother loved him and wanted him to use his gift in a way that's, not exploitative at all. She seemed to take really good care of him. But she slowly started dying of pancreatic cancer. And the last time he ever saw her was when he was 3 years old, and she was bald and emaciated, and she said, "I'll always be with you." And over the years, his mind has changed that into the cancer being a monster that ate his mother. That's a very clever way to show how the mind of a child can sort of reshape memories. I wasn't crazy about how Jesse actually defeated the Canker Man, though, which was showing her a butterfly-shaped pillow that Cody's biological mother used when he was a baby. And then she hugs it, and then it slowly transforms into Cody, and then Cody disappears too, even though Cody is still asleep. I feel like it would have made a lot more sense if the Canker Man went away after the next scene where Jesse explains things to Cody. And then we saw a scene of Cody having a nightmare about the Canker Man, and then he tells it, "You're not real. You didn't eat my mom." And then it goes away, but whatever. Maybe that wouldn't have worked out quite as well, because even though the Canker Man didn't kill Cody's mom, it did kill a bunch of other people. Speaking of which, this movie opens with one of Cody's foster parents attempting to kill him with a gun. We see him later on in the movie and we learn his story. His wife was also eaten by the Canker Man. It was set off on him because the wife got sick, and that reminded Cody of his biological mother getting sick. And this man straight up exploited Cody's power by trying to make him dream up his wife, except the wife slowly got less and less like herself because he kept forgetting her. And I guess he decided that the only option he had was to shoot the kid. He tells Jesse to do the same thing and actually kill him, which she dismisses outright. That's not even an option to her. But this is supposed to be years after the incident that they have this conversation, and he's still thinking this way. Screw you, dude. The movie ends with Jesse and Cody fully becoming adoptive mother and son. What I don't like is that they planted the seed of maybe someday Cody will be able to bring back the people who died. I guess it made more sense here than Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, but still, that's a lot of pressure to put on this child. But aside from that, this is a very feel-good ending that actually made me misty-eyed a little bit. I am glad that Before I Wake was able to turn itself around and fix the issues that it had in its story, because the story is what makes this movie great. So far, Mike Flanagan is 3 for 3, and I definitely plan on watching more of his movies in the future. Alright, thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.